If the Jets don't stomp the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, it will be, to me, a major disappointment and maybe even more of a reality check than the rude awakening that they had Monday night was in Week 1. You want to say a little rust. You want to say the Niners are just at a different level. The Tennessee Titans are not at that level. If the Jets are to be talked about like a playoff team, a Super Bowl team, a division-winning team, they better go out there and stomp the Titans in Tennessee, where I know you'll be on Sunday.
I'll be there, and I got to be honest, I don't care if they win 13-7. I am not wrapped up in the aesthetics, how this thing looks, or, mopping. And I did use that word earlier in the week, but I've changed my tune here. I think what a lot of people are missing, I don't agree, Sal. Now, don't get me wrong. I get back on that flight Sunday night coming back to Newark, and the Jets win 34-7. Your partner's going to be pretty giddy. I got it. I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers toss 3 touchdowns and the running game get on track and the defense, make Will Levis look as bad as he looked against Chicago Bears in Week 1. I would like that. I don't need that. I think what everybody's missing, and I'm going to lead the parade of change here. Can we give this team a little time to evolve into the elite team that they could be? I don't know if they'll be an elite team. I think they'll be a playoff team. And by the way, the Bills look a little bit better than I thought. We'll get to the Tua stuff later. I know. Yeah. I got you. There's a lot of moving parts in the NFL, but we get so wrapped up in you got to destroy a bad team. First of all, Tennessee's not even that bad, number one. And the Jets have been thrown together. They've got a new left tackle. They've got Rodgers, who, in my opinion, is new. He's pretty much new. You got these new Mike Williams. You've got to get him involved in the flow here. Just win the game.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, BT, but I'm not the one who started talking about the Super Bowl parades. So where is this? So why now, after they got embarrassed Week 1 and now ahead of Week 2 against an opponent that they should beat? You can talk up the Titans all you want. Titans aren't any good. You see their quarterback against the Bears in Week 1. Now, again, I know it's Week 1. Hey, the Jets are 4.5-point favorites. So the last I checked, they were 4.5-point favorites.
It's been bet down to 3.5. Okay, money's coming in on Tennessee.
Fine. Jets are 3.5-point favorites on the road.
Yep.
They're supposed to be a Super Bowl team, supposed to be a division-winning team. You were sitting here saying 12, 13 wins.
I said 11 or 12.
Okay,
I never said 13.
Fine, 11, 12.
I still believe that.
Everybody's saying, over the 9.5 is a layup. 12-win team, 11, 12-win team. Some people saying 12, 13, whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to go into Week 2 and lower the expectations. Hey, Mike Williams just getting going. It's a new offensive line. It's a new quarterback, essentially. Yeah, well, these are all things that we all knew all offseason long. Why then are people talking Super Bowl?
Well, those are two very different things. Lowering the bar and me not meeting you at the point where you think the Jets need to destroy the Titans, that's one thing. I'm not lowering the bar where I'm saying that it's okay if the Jets lose.
Right.
I mean, if the Jets lose, I'm going to go nuts on Monday.
But don't you think that they have to, and again, I'm not even talking about necessarily covering the spread. Like, that's a totally different
Forget
conversation.
about the spread.
Yeah, I'm talking, and I'm not even, like, you don't have to win by 20 points or 15 points. There is no point thing. For me, it's about how they look. This Jets defense that got dominated in Week 1 needs to dominate the Titans. You want to say there's going to be some rust on the offensive end? Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm not saying the Jets are going to go out there and pace them 35-10. It might happen. Who knows? But I want to see a convincing, hey, an improvement off of Week 1. The defense certainly dominate. And that, to me, is something that is necessary to see for a team that wants to win the division, in a division that could be, you saw what Buffalo's been. You know what they've been for a long time. And again, maybe a different story. We could get to that a little bit later on, go around the league a little bit, or talk about the Bills specifically last night to the Dolphins. But the Jets have a long way to go here. A dominating performance, at least from the defense, would go a long way in Week 2.
Listen, I'm just saying that Tennessee is... They're not the Carolina Panthers. Now, Will Levis is not going to be the guy long-term, I don't think. But understand the Titans allowed less than 3 yards per carry, in Week 1, which was the lowest total in Week 1. So they stopped the run. All right, now it's Chicago. It's a rookie quarterback. We'll see. All right, but still, the Jets need to prove that they can run the ball, which they didn't against San Francisco. Obviously, a different monster, San Francisco versus Tennessee. But Tennessee early has shown they can stop the run. And they also showed the ability to run the ball because Tony Pollard ran for 82 yards and a little bit more than 5 yards a carry. So Titans ran the ball. They stopped the run. I'm just sending out that warning flare. Jet fans can do whatever they want. I mean, obviously, you can think whatever you want. I'm just saying that as long as the Jets find a way to win the game, that's all that matters. If it's going to be the season that we hope it's going to be, I am okay with steady, slow, incremental progress.
Fair enough. And it might be, and maybe I'm a little sensitive to what happened last year because they were finding ways to win games last year, but it was not pretty at all, and it was nothing you could believe in. So, yeah, a win is a win. You want to get a win, but they can't back into a win and be okay with it if you're trying to win a division. So when I say they have to come out there and stomp them, I mean the Jets should look. There should be no doubt Sunday when that game ends who the more dominant team on the football field is. Not, the Jets escaped with one. You know, the Jets got away with one. It was a close game. The Titans almost win. Like, no taking advantage of just their bad play. The Jets need to look at some point here early on this season like a legitimate playoff contender. They looked anything but in week one, and you can chalk it up to just, it's week one, it's the 49ers, coaching disparity, whatever it may be. And there are a lot of excuses that we made for this team. But it was ugly. And if they don't fix that, Saleh said, defense, not a problem, we will fix it. That, to me, is at least the one element I need to see dominance in. Will Levis and the Titans should not be able to move the football on the almighty, big-time Jets defense. That's not something that should need time to gel because it was in place last year, and I still think overrated, but it was in place last year. There should be no excuse to why the Jets defense cannot dominate that game Sunday, and I think if they do, the offense should do enough to where it will be a 10-point, double-digit game, whatever it may be.
Now, that part I agree with here. I'm going to give the offense a little more time to get some cohesion here, but the defense should not look soft. The defense should not look slow, and the defense should not look inept, which they did against Niners. I don't think that they will, but if they do, that's a different level of concern, and I would definitely agree with that. Listen, I don't know. Listen, the chances of this paralleling what I'm about to reference is fairly minute.
Right.
My all-time favorite Jets season, you know which one. We almost played your team to the Super Bowl, 98, okay? The Jets went 12-4. They won their first East divisional title. How did that season start? They lost in San Francisco week one. Garrison Hurst, 96-yard run when he ran right by Mo Lewis and some others. Boom, in overtime. And then they lost the next game. So the Jets started that season 0-2. Now, the big difference is, Bill Parcells. I know. Bill Parcells is cooking up whatever he's cooking up. And as the Jets were getting knocked around here, I'm sure in the paper. I mean, I wasn't on the air. I was just out of college. But on the shows and in the papers and all the other stuff, I'm sure that because they were a winning team the previous year as well. They went 9-8, the Jets. 9-7, 16-game season. So the thought was they should take that next step, and they were 0-2. I don't know if this will parallel it. Now, if this team starts 0-2, my conviction that they can become the team that I still envision them becoming, it won't completely go away because then at that point I would think that they would mop the Pats on Thursday at home and start to score some points, whatever. But understand, we make so much of each game. And I understand why, because there's not 162 or 82 of them, like the Yanks and the Mets and the Rangers and the Knicks and the Nets, etc. There's 17 games to react to. Just win.
And I'll kind of meet you in the middle, too. I don't believe if the Jets lose the game, the season is over. But I do believe if the Jets lose the game or don't look dominant, that we need to stop with the Super Bowl and even the division stuff. Like, then maybe this team is going to be a wild card team and a team that's going to be fighting for the last wild card spot or a playoff spot if they get their stuff together. Like, they could very easily lose this game and then beat the Pats. A big time effort Thursday night home opener, follow it up with a win against the Broncos and Vikings, and all of a sudden beat a 3-2. Now, is that going to be good enough? 3-2 for a team that people said 12, 13 wins, division wins, Super Bowl, taking on the Bills? Maybe not. I mean, the Jets have a nice landing spot after these first two games where they come home for a few games, or the London game, whatever it may be.
That's week 5
in the middle. Yeah, but they could still do some damage here. I just need to see. There's a lot of talk about the Jets. A lot of talk. Going back to last year, in season with the defense. This year, certainly the build-up. And we've seen so far, we've heard the talk, but what we've seen was they got run over and steamrolled. The Titans are not the 49ers. Like, there's no excuse to me for a less than effort from the Jets. Things happen. You could lose a football game, sure, and not have the season be over. But I think if they lose this football game, and even if they win and they don't look dominant winning, at least in the defensive aspect, you could forget the division talk and the Super Bowl talk, and then you just become about, hey, can we get the season back on track and go out there and make the postseason? I mean,
it is a long season, and we'll get to this later. What do you think they're saying down in Miami about their prospects? That's a team
this season's over.
Well, I mean, likely, unfortunately for Tua, but that's a team that we thought would win double-figure games. Who knows what happens with them? Listen, you know what's crazy? Think about the airtime devoted to Aaron Rodgers on this station. Since the thought that he might come here literally up until this moment. It's overwhelming. I would rather see the Jets win 13-6 and the offense look than win 34-31. That's a point that I am with you. Now they got to win a game.
Yeah.
That defense needs to look a whole hell of a lot better.
888-808-1019. BT and Sal on the Fan. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. It has to be the defense. We said that even last. Now, it's great that you have the quarterback because Aaron Rodgers will give you a chance. But this team is built on their defense. That is why nobody looks at the offense outside of the quarterback and says, well, this is going to be a great offense. Yeah, they have Garrett Wilson, who's still developing and still learning here as a young player. Finally has a real quarterback to throw him the football. Hall, same thing. I know people overhype, the best running back in the game. He can be an explosive back, sure. I mean, he's still got a lot to prove as well. Do it from start to finish healthy of a year. Not fumble the football, not get hurt.
That's fair.
Man, I like all, but again, we need to actually see it play out here with the Jets. But their strength, no issue about it, should be their defense. They got run over, they got embarrassed, they got steamrolled on Monday night against a superior team. The head coach is a defensive guy. He said it's not a problem, it's an easy fix. If they can't dominate Will Levis, like all the things you're saying about the Titans are fine if you're the Bears or the Giants or whatever. This is the Jets we're talking about. And I may disagree with the division talk, the Super Bowl talk, even the playoffs to a certain extent until we see it. The defense is something that, even if I think it's overrated, it is legit. And that should be something that no question dominates a team like the Tennessee Titans. Even if they're improved, even if they're okay, still, this is a top defense that we should be talking about here.
The one warning that I'm going to issue, and we do this, and I'm guilty of this as well, when you don't have, top of mind name recognition. Like when the Jets play the Bills, you know their weapons. When the Giants play the Cowboys, you know their abundance of weapons, so on and so forth. Tennessee's lumped in there as a team below the radar, certainly below the Texans in the division perceptually. And we don't know a ton of their names. I'm telling you, Jet fans, this is going to be a tough game. Do not expect to sit down. Again, it will be an amazing gift, but don't expect to sit down on your couch or in the stadium with me and others on Sunday and say, this team's inept. The Jets are going to win 33-6. It's not fair, and it's really, I don't want to say it's not plausible because it could happen, but it's not likely. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Tennessee. The late money's coming on the Titans for a reason. It's their home opener. The Jets defense didn't look good. What Tennessee does well, the Jets in a small sample this year have not proven to do well. Just win the game. Get back on that plane and with win number one. Yeah. That's all I care about.
And if they lose?
It's going to depend how they lose.
All right.
But that's almost the easy way out. If they lose, then the Patriots game is an absolute must win.
Yeah.
It changes the perception. I'll be all over the coach. Like, the coach cannot allow them to lose.
Right.
Parcells would not. Coughlin would not. I don't even think Herb would. Like, our Herm Edwards team would be ready to win this game. Win the game.
If the defense does not show signs of dominance and dominate Will freaking Levis, we could be in for a long season here, even with the schedule being what it may. I'm not saying the season's over, it can't make the playoffs. I need to see a dominant defense. If you do see the dominant defense, then you can take a deep breath and say, okay, 12 wins, division, still should be in play. Let's see how it plays out head-to-head against the Bills. I need to see the Jets defense dominate. James is in North Arlington, New Jersey. What's up, James?
You're calling on me to start the show. I mean, listen, I love your conversation. I was lucky enough to be on the field for every game that Rex Ryan coached, so I got to photograph the Jets all those seasons. And I'll tell you something. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it, but if Sanchez could lead the Jets as quarterback to back-to-back AFC championships and have that kind of defense, which they had, was incredible. They also had a great offensive line. You're 100% right. If they can't make the playoffs with the defense that they're supposed to have, we don't know yet if they have it, Aaron Rodgers could be a pedestrian quarterback, which he's not, there's no doubt about that. He could be a game manager, which no one wants to ever say he is because he's not. He could be a window thrower. I'm throwing all those terms out. I think some of them are kind of corny, but and you're right. If they can't make the playoffs right now, there's something wrong with the defense. And I don't know.
But we're not even talking about the playoffs, James. And thank you for the call. Not yet. I mean, I've referenced the playoffs. I'm talking about week 2. This is a game. The Jets, all the hype, all the talk. This is not the 49ers where I gave them a mulligan or a little bit of a bye. All right, at least Rodgers came out healthy and looked sharp. That, to me, was the most important thing.
Fairly sharp. Yeah, not incredible.
No, right, okay, but still.
I want to see him look a little sharper.
Defense looked as bad as you could look.
Awful.
And we ripped them for that, but also understanding that it was, and again, I'm not trying to make excuses because they talk a tough game and then they got their steamrolled there. It was week 1. It was the Niners. That's got to get fixed now. And the head coach said it, BT. That's what I'm looking to see dominate Sunday. And I believe if they do, they will. It's not going to be a 13-6 game. I really do believe that the defense dominates the Titans like they should. The Jets should win this game going away.
If I had to put down a score, I mean, what does it really mean? I mean, in my gut, I'm kind of feeling right now, maybe 24-13, something like that.
Right, okay.
Nothing nuts.
Yeah.
And if the Jets win, in the neighborhood of that score, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah.
Come home, wax the Pats, get to 2-1, take care of the Broncos, go to London, and you've got the tarmac to a very prosperous season, which I believe they're going to have.
I mean, what is the Titans over-under number for the year? All of a sudden now we're going to be high on the Titans.
I'm just telling you, Sal, they're better than you think. Yeah. They have a good offensive line.
Levis is a quarterback.
I understand
and they blew a 17-0 lead
but they were good enough to take a 17-0 lead on the road.
Man, they gave it up.
I understand.
And that's also the Bears, who I don't think are as good as the Jets, or at least aren't supposed to be as good as the Jets.
Me neither.
Some people think that they are. I'm just
saying they're not the Panthers. They're not the Giants. Like, I think Tennessee.
What about the Pats?
Sorry, Giants fans.
Pats beat the Bengals week 1.
Yep.
I mean, we've been saying for weeks, well, that's a layup game. That's going to be a gimme game. Now, ahead of week 3, we're going to be like, well, you know what? Maybe the Pats aren't as bad as we thought.
Well, I do think the Pats will finish, top 5, top 6. I think they're going to be bad. I think what it is, I think maybe some people, maybe I've done this before others have, recalibrate what you perceive the NFL to be. The days of showing up with the quote-unquote superior team and just waxing. And, I'm not saying that you're not going to have some blowouts. Look at Carolina or the Saints, 47-10, week 1. And the Saints are good, not great. Panthers are a doormat. They stink. So you will have some of those uneven games. But I think with the NFL, the way, it just the way it's gone the last 5, 6, 7, 10 years, I don't think you count anything as a blowout until you actually get the blowout. Right. Just give me a win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that theory, but the way that the Jets talked about the season, or not even just Jets themselves, media, fans, all the hype, my goodness, if they don't have an impressive, dominant-like performance against Tennessee, it is going to, to me at least, I mean, it's already bad getting off to a bad start with week 1. But in Tennessee, it's not Brock Purdy. It's not Shanahan they're going up against here. Titans may be better than some people thought. There's a reason the Jets are 3.5-point favorite on the road. Defense needs to go out there and dominate. BT and Sal on the Fan. More your calls, 888-808-1019. We'll get to the Giants as well and Tua from last night.